Hey everybody, this is my Black Ghost Knifefish tank, and tonight I'm going to get in there and do some much needed maintenance on there. We're going to wipe down the glass, do a water change. The water's not really that bad, but what I want to get in there and take care of, if you haven't noticed it by now, is all this really scummy green mats of stuff that are growing in the back here. Still not 100% sure whether that is the green hair algae growing in mats. I see it growing in ponds like that. Or is it cyanobacteria? When you get over here and you look at this stuff, this looks like cyanobacteria. You see how it's not like stringy and strandy? It's more sort of like sheets that are self-contained. That looks more like cyanobacteria. But perhaps this only has the strings and strands growing off of it because it's in the current and it's creating it like that. So at any rate, I've never been 100% sure what that stuff is. I've treated for it a million times. It always comes back. So tonight we're going to get in there with my siphon hose and we're just going to physically remove it. I'm going to try to get the tripod set up with this camera so we can actually see the process of me getting in there and doing it. So sit tight, let me get everything set up, and we'll get back in there and we'll see if we can't physically remove a bunch of this stuff. Alright everybody, sorry for the funny angle, but I gotta have the camera sort of sitting off to the side so I don't knock into it while I'm doing this. So the first thing we're going to do is get in here and just gently wipe the glass down so that the camera can see what's going on inside. Normally I would wipe the glass down once the water level was a little lower so I wouldn't have to worry about splashing around, and I could actually wipe away a lot of this stuff while it was above the water surface. That way anything that breaks loose doesn't necessarily go straight into the water. But no big deal. I really do need to get in here in the very near future and either clean the filter if I'm not going to replace it, or what I ideally want to do is replace the filter in this tank. And I've been putting it off and putting it off. What I'm going to replace it with is one of those other Sun 404Bs. I only have the 303B on this tank. It's the smaller one. So I'm going to put the larger one on there, but the one I have is the one that's got the bad trays. So I need to fix the trays, and then once I've sort of rigged those trays up so that they work properly again, I can then swap out filters on this tank and use the 404B and actually get that larger filter running on this tank, which is what I need. Alright, now this is the fun part, is getting this siphon going. This is a big thick piece of vinyl hose. It's not very flexible. So the sheets come out easy enough. That's why I always say this stuff's not much more than a nuisance when it comes to cleaning it up. But it is a nuisance. It is something you got to stay on top of. Eventually it'll, start to do some chemistry changes in the water. It'll start using up more oxygen and you'll get oxygen depletion issues. So there are concerns about using it or allowing it to grow. I think that's the bulk of it, and my bucket's just about full, so we're going to call that good. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get my regular water changer out here, and we're going to go ahead and finish doing just a basic water change. I don't really need to do anything else tonight. Like I said, I'm not going to mess with that filter again. So give me a couple minutes and we'll have a look at the after. Alright, and there's your after. So I didn't wait too long after I was done just to get this over with. I really do need to get this video shot and uploaded this evening. So it's still a little bubbly. Still a little bit of debris floating around, fresh off the water change, but for the most part you get a pretty good idea of how nice and bright and clean it looks. I only lowered the water maybe 4 inches, maybe 5 inches top, so we're talking about maybe a 20% water change total at the most. You can see, if you look way in the back there, I didn't get all of that green stuff. I don't know if I'm going to focus on that or not. There we go. It's a good up close look at it. See how it's kind of like hairs and stringy and strandy? So obviously I didn't expect the little siphon I just did to clear it out completely and clean it out. I just wanted to get a bunch of the big bulk stuff out of there so that it wasn't, you know, taking over the tank. So while I was actually doing the water change, I got to thinking it's been an awfully long time since I've done a video about water testing and checked my water hardness and pH and all that stuff. I just really generally don't need to anymore because I've done it so many times over the years on these tanks. I just kind of know what's going on in them. So I suppose I should talk more about the kind of water testing I do or used to do on a regular basis. It's probably a good idea if I get back into doing it on a regular basis. So we'll see how all that goes. I just wanted to get this tank done tonight. I got to get going. I hear my dog upstairs barking, so I need to get going and go let him out. But real quick, I did want to show you one final thing. I wanted to have a look down here in this bucket. Gives you a pretty good idea of the amount of scum I got out of there. All that dark stuff is the, whatever it is, the algae, the cyanobacteria, or whatever that I got out of there. So there you go. There's my water change in my Black Ghost knife fish tank. Don't forget to check out my Patreon channel. You will get to see all of my YouTube videos at least 2 days in advance. Plus, I also put a lot of stuff over onto the Patreon channel that only goes to the Patreon channel. It stays there for a week or two, and then I go ahead and delete it. So if you're over there on the Patreon channel, you'll get to see all that good stuff that you don't see here on my YouTube channel. And, of course, you'll get to see these YouTube videos 2 days early. Cost you nothing to go check it out at least. You can at least follow me over there if you want. You don't have to subscribe, but I would appreciate it if you did. So also, subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Don't forget this one is my Black Ghost knife fish tank. Thanks for watching. I'll see you real soon in the next one.